Alright, we're just gonna do a little more work on this painting. I will say this, it's been such a long time since I've painted. This is like the first painting I've actually been done in years. So, um, so once I get back into it, I'll be better at it. This is me just, just practicing, getting back into putting the paint on the canvas. I think that painting is one of the best ways to get into a flow state, because when I'm trying to do my pen and ink stuff, I'm trying to get it precise, and so you're like very consciously trying to add, shading and stuff. The great thing about paint is that like when you put it down, the paint just you can learn how to make the paint do what you want it to do, but you also have to work with it because when you put it down, it kind of does its own thing. And the flow state is all about not thinking, but just direct experience. So, I don't like watercolor. I feel like there are people that do watercolor well enough to have very pronounced and vibrant colors and shadows, but it starts off sort of like all pastel and light, and it takes forever to actually get it to have bright colors because you keep on having to put layers and layers down. Now, that being said, I actually do tend to use acrylics um, like watercolor. So I just kind of get it really wet, but I can choose how wet to make it, and I just make it a little bit watered down usually before I start putting down some of the more bold strokes. So, a very funny synchronistic event when I was working at Books A Million. I got into a conversation with the guy, and he was talking about his art, and he said he he painted a forest on somebody's wall. I was like, no shit, I did that too. And then he said, yeah, the way I paint with acrylics, I paint kind of like watercolor. I was like, no shit, really? And then we had a couple other connections I don't remember, but just interesting. Just all right, so let's get back to working on the monster. Where's the black paint? All right. One reason why painting has in the past sometimes really frustrated me is that I would be trying to get the color right, so I would start mixing in colors onto the canvas and keep on trying to get it perfect, and then instead of adding, it just ends up becoming this muddled brown mush. And so basically that's called overpainting, where you're trying too hard. So I'm sure for that, it's just to let the paint do what it wants. And you're just there to guide it. And you want to see the strokes. Look at it from far away and you don't see them, you get close up and you see them, and yet it still looks like the thing that you're making. It's almost like an optical illusion. You know, I had a kind of funny thought about optical illusions. Any drawing you make, any representational drawing you make, if you draw a picture of a tree, it is an optical illusion. Why? Because you're not actually looking at a tree. So it's not a tree. So what is it? Well, it's a bunch of lines that tricked you into thinking it was a tree. So one reason why it's good to get into the painting side of things is so my other tree creatures I generally like to do with pen and ink. Um, when you stop like trying to make something specific and you just start putting your paintbrush down, it's amazing. Like things can just suddenly appear before you, like the texture of the spark. I'm not thinking about texturing it right now. I'm just dabbing it all over, and yeah, so I'll do that. I have a lot of goals for projects with my art, and that includes basically creating sort of a universe in which my characters live. And I want there to be like different creatures that represent different elements. Like you've got the tree beings. You've got rock monsters. You got probably little fire goblins that live down beneath the earth near the magma. And so one application that could be writing a story, fiction. The other is, using it for a cartoon show. I guess the light's coming from the left. I wasn't intending that, but I'm very good at intuitively knowing how to shade. All right, so we'll. I might be overpainting this. But, hey, this is my practice getting back into the world of paint. Alright. I had some happy little branches. I learned essentially nothing from art classes I've taken. The only thing that I can think of is, God, giving you objects to shade and teaching you how to shade each one differently, but that didn't actually teach me anything. I know how to fucking shade intuitively, but the other one they said is it's like, make sure you fill all the space. If you have a piece of paper, make it go all the way to the edges. Yeah, it's not really anything special. I will give my art teacher credit for one thing. She said, make the values as wide as possible. I think that's how she said it. Meaning, make one section of the paint as dark as you can and another as light as you can, which actually makes a lot of sense to me. So I do actually try to do that. What I really focus on in a lot of my art, which includes organizing and decorating my room and rearranging furniture, music, and visual art, is the Zen concept of empty space. And it's really fascinating how you can actually tangibly see the psychological perspective effect of Zen Buddhism on Japanese society and culture. Like, you look at their art, all their art is focused on empty space, and that's a core tenet of Zen and reality, dare I say. So yeah, so I definitely am inspired by Japanese art and empty space. I don't know, this one I'm not thinking a lot about empty space, but in a sense I am, though, because I was thinking, okay, I want to draw a tree behind him. How many trees do I want to create? Not many, because you don't want it to be cluttered. There is art that's really good because it's cluttered. Like, somebody draws like a city and they add every little detail about of the city, and that's pretty cool. Or, they're showing out how complex they can make things. So there's no one style of art that's superior. Composition, like the mathematical framing, you look at the rule of thirds and stuff, that is somewhat is, it's not universal. It's like something you should always err on the side of, but there is some art that the whole appeal of it is that everything is like identical on both sides. There was a period in time back in the 17 or 1800s where that was actually the style that people went for, was symmetry. And I'm told that that applied to music as well, but I'm not very knowledgeable about classical music.